You think you want success, but you don't even understand what it demands. Most people live in illusions of effort. They confuse activity with progress, motion with direction. They fill their days with meaningless tasks, then wonder why nothing changes. You don't lack time. You lack clarity. And clarity is born only when you strip away lies and face the emptiness of what you've truly accomplished. You want strength, yet you cling to comfort. You claim you're willing to suffer, but the moment pain whispers, you run. Look at yourself. Search for the truth you keep avoiding. You chase comfort because it's easy, but comfort is the slowest form of death. It kills silently, robbing you of urgency, stripping away your edge, dulling your hunger. By the time you realize what it's done, it's too late. So kill comfort before it kills you. Strength is not measured in how loud you are when you win. It's measured in how silent you remain while you suffer. The ability to endure quietly, to keep moving without applause, is what separates those who rise from those who collapse at the first sign of resistance. Weakness thrives in shadows. You hide your flaws, thinking they make you safe, when in reality they are chains keeping you where you are. The only way forward is exposure, dragging your weaknesses into the light, dissecting them without mercy, and rebuilding yourself into something unrecognizable to who you are today. You cannot conquer what you refuse to confront. Running from fear only feeds it. Every step you take away from the challenge multiplies its power over you. But the moment you step toward it, the illusion crumbles. Fear is fragile. Once faced, it cannot survive. You fear failure because you think it defines you. It doesn't. Failure is data, nothing more. What defines you is what you do with it. Learn, adapt, strike again. If you are unwilling to fail, you are unfit to win. How many times have you lied, not to others, but to your own reflection? You tell yourself you're trying. You tell yourself you're giving your best. But if that were true, you wouldn't need excuses. Let me remind you, life does not care about your feelings, your background, or your fragile pride. Fairness is a concept created by the powerless. If you wait for life to treat you fairly, you will die waiting. You've been taught to seek balance, to search for moderation, but balance is another word for stagnation. The world does not reward those who move carefully. It rewards those who move decisively. Extremes build empires. Half measures build graves. Moderation is the philosophy of the mediocre. It teaches you to settle, to compromise, to dilute your ambition until it no longer threatens anyone. But history was never written by the balanced. It was carved by those who embraced extremes, no matter the cost. Strength is not given, it is seized. Respect is not granted, it is demanded. And survival is not guaranteed, it is earned, day by day, through the decisions you make when no one is there to witness them. The world rewards one thing: results. If you can't produce them, you're irrelevant. That's the reality. Harsh, yes. But reality doesn't soften itself for the weak. While you sleep, someone else is sharpening their mind. While you complain, someone else is learning to endure. And when the time comes, when it matters most, who do you think will stand on top? It won't be you, unless you change. Understand this: talent is overrated. Discipline devours talent. Endurance annihilates talent. Focus destroys talent. The strongest are rarely the most gifted. They are the ones who refuse to stop when every part of their body screams to quit. That is the difference between potential and reality. If talent was everything, the gifted would already rule the world. They don't. Why? Because talent without consistency is wasted. Talent without resilience is fragile. Talent without obsession collapses under pressure. What matters isn't what you were given, it's what you demand from yourself every single day. So here's the truth you keep avoiding. You already have what you need: discipline, focus, willpower. They aren't gifts, they're choices. Choices you refuse to make every day. Excuses are the language of the defeated. Every time you say "I can't," what you mean is "I won't." You give power to obstacles by accepting them. Stop giving them oxygen. Starve them with action. Crush them with movement. Excuses will die the moment you outwork them. But understand this: every second you waste, every moment you surrender to laziness, you are handing your future to someone else. You're building their victory with your weakness. That is your reality. Opportunity is not scarce. You are. Doors are everywhere, but you refuse to walk through them because they demand sacrifice. You don't lack chances, you lack courage. And until you admit that, you will remain where you are, watching others claim what you were too afraid to reach for. The mind is your greatest weapon, yet most wield it like a child holding a blade, carelessly, without training. Train your body, and it will obey. Train your mind, and it will conquer. But neglect your mind, and it will betray you in the moments you need it most. Self-control is not optional. It is survival. Without it, you are nothing more than a puppet to your impulses. Most people are slaves, not to others, but to themselves. Their cravings dictate their choices. Their distractions consume their time. Their emotions control their actions. Freedom begins the moment you chain your impulses, instead of being chained by them. Your thoughts control your life. If your mind is weak, your life will crumble. Sharpen it daily. Train it with discipline. Then when chaos comes, you won't shatter. You'll cut through it, effortlessly. Stop pretending. Stop waiting. Stop dreaming without moving. You keep asking for motivation, as if it's fuel that arrives before the work. Motivation is not the beginning. It is the result. Discipline comes first. Movement comes first. Pain comes first. Only after you bleed for something does motivation reward you. Until then, stop waiting for a feeling. Create the feeling through action. Discipline is silent violence. It is the decision to move when your body begs for rest. It is the refusal to stop when your mind pleads for comfort. And it is the weapon that separates those who dream from those who dominate. Master discipline, and you no longer need motivation. If you want power, you must rip yourself out of comfort. If you want respect, you must fight for it when no one is watching. Privacy is your proving ground. When the world isn't watching, who are you really? Do you work, or do you waste? Do you build, or do you scroll? If you're weak in the dark, you'll never be strong in the light. Your private actions decide your public victories. The applause you crave will never matter. Crowds cheer for moments, but silence is eternal. Build for the silence. Train for the silence. Win in the silence. Because when it's just you and the mirror, there is no audience, only the truth of what you've built. And if you want freedom, the freedom to control your life, your destiny, your path, you must first master yourself. Not tomorrow, not later, now. Because the clock doesn't stop, and neither do the ones who are willing to go further than you ever dared. And the greatest prison is not society. It is your undisciplined mind. People speak of freedom as if it's given. It isn't. Freedom is purchased, with sacrifice, with discipline, with relentless struggle. You can't beg for it. You can't borrow it. You must earn it. And until you do, every choice you make will be dictated by chains you chose not to break. You cage yourself with fear, with doubt, with hesitation. Break the bars, burn the cage. Once you master yourself, no system, no circumstance, no person can ever trap you again. That is true freedom, earned, not given. So ask yourself this: will you keep hiding behind lies? Or will you finally wake up, face the truth, and claim the life that only the ruthless ever touch? In the end, there is no rescue. No savior is coming. You are both the architect of your downfall and the engineer of your rise. Everything you want, everything you fear, everything you avoid, it begins and ends with you. So stop searching outward, look inward. That is where your victory lives, waiting for you to claim it. Remember this: nobody is obligated to believe in you. Nobody is required to support you. Stop waiting for validation, and stop needing approval. Walk alone if you must, because the path to greatness is always walked alone, before anyone else dares to follow. Solitude is not weakness, it is refinement. In isolation, there is no noise, no illusions, no lies. Only the raw truth of who you are and what you're willing to become. Those who cannot endure solitude will never endure greatness. And this is where most of you break. You crave company, validation, comfort, things that dull the blade of your resolve. You run from silence because in silence, your lies echo too loudly. But hear this: greatness demands solitude. Not because you must always be alone, but because you must learn to stand without anyone holding you up. If you cannot carry your own weight in darkness, you will crumble the moment the light shines on you. Understand something simple: life is indifferent. It doesn't owe you a stage, applause, or recognition. It doesn't even owe you survival. Every second is a transaction, what you give and what you take. Most of you give nothing of value, yet demand everything. That contradiction is why you remain weak, unnoticed, irrelevant, and you will stay that way unless you burn the weakness out of yourself, piece by piece. People cling to hope as if it will save them. Hope without action is a chain. It keeps you waiting, dreaming, stalling. Stop praying for hope. Replace it with certainty. Certainty forged in discipline and repeated action. Hope waits, certainty moves, and only movement reshapes the world. Ask yourself, how many more days will you waste pretending tomorrow will be different? How many more times will you fold under the weight of your own excuses? Time does not pause for your hesitation. Every second is either claimed by you or stolen forever. That is the reality you avoid facing, and the longer you avoid it, the more powerless you become. So here is the truth, stripped of illusion. You are alone. You are unprepared. You are weaker than you want to admit. But within that truth is the seed of power. Because once you accept it, you stop lying to yourself. And once you stop lying, you can finally start building something real, something unshakable. The world is merciless. It will not pity you. It will not wait for you. And it will not care whether you rise or collapse. So carve yourself into something it cannot ignore. Not with words, not with dreams, with results. Cold, undeniable, unarguable results. Until then, you are nothing but noise. And when you finally decide to change, when you finally decide to move without hesitation, then, only then, will the silence around you break, and the world will have no choice but to acknowledge you.